The moment you wake is not neutral, it is contested ground. Most men do not realize this because the battle is quiet and familiar. It does not arrive with danger or urgency. It arrives as warmth, stillness, and the promise of delay. Comfort speaks softly at dawn, and because its voice is gentle, it is trusted. This is where weakness begins, not in failure but in permission. When the eyes open and the body remains still, the mind awakens faster. It scans for justification. It remembers yesterday's effort and exaggerates it. It imagines the day ahead and magnifies its weight. It suggests rest as wisdom, delay as patience. None of these thoughts are loud, yet each one pushes you a step away from command. If you listen long enough, they will convince you that rising later changes nothing. This lie is the root of many defeats. I learned early that strength is not tested when the world demands it. Strength is tested when nothing demands it at all. At dawn, no one is watching, no one is asking, there is no reward waiting, only choice. To rise immediately is not an act of aggression against the body, it is an act of loyalty to your purpose. It tells the mind that comfort does not decide direction. The body at waking is obedient. It has not yet chosen ease or effort, it waits for instruction. If instruction does not arrive, the mind fills the silence with negotiation. This is why delay is dangerous, not because of lost minutes but because of lost authority. Once the mind believes it can debate command, it will do so throughout the day. If it learns that action comes first, debate fades. Many believe discipline is built by forcing oneself through difficulty. They misunderstand its origin. Discipline is built by removing the option to hesitate. The first movement of the day should be simple and immediate, feet to the floor, spine upright, breath steady, no commentary, no evaluation, action without argument. This small ritual teaches the mind its place. There is a reason the body feels heavy in the morning. It is not weakness, it is transition. To interpret heaviness as a signal to stop is to mistake sensation for truth. Strength is not the absence of resistance, it is movement in its presence. Each morning you move despite heaviness, you deposit proof into yourself, proof that sensation does not command you. Comfort is persuasive because it offers certainty. Stay still and nothing changes. Rise and the unknown begins. Most men prefer the known discomfort of stagnation to the uncertain effort of growth. The disciplined choose uncertainty early so it loses power later. By stepping into effort at dawn, you shrink the day's challenges before they arrive. This practice is not about time or productivity, it is about hierarchy. Who leads, comfort or command? If comfort leads in the first minute, it will seek leadership again at every difficult moment. If command leads early, comfort learns restraint. It still exists, but it no longer speaks first. Rising before comfort can speak creates a quiet confidence, not the loud confidence that seeks recognition, but the steady kind that does not need reinforcement. You begin the day knowing you have already won something invisible. This knowledge steadies the hands and sharpens the eyes. It changes how you walk into difficulty because you are not hopping to be strong, you have already acted. There will be mornings when the body resists more fiercely. Fatigue, illness, doubt, these will test resolve. Do not mistake these mornings as exceptions, they are the lesson. If you rise only when it is easy, you are training convenience, not discipline. The disciplined rise not because the morning allows it, but because they do not ask permission. Some fear that such rigidity will harden the spirit. They confuse discipline with cruelty. True cruelty is allowing weakness to accumulate until it breaks you under real pressure. Rising immediately is mercy practiced early. It prepares you for the weight you will inevitably carry. The world rewards reaction. Messages demand attention. Noise demands response. Those who rise slowly are immediately pulled outward, their focus scattered before it is formed. Those who rise with command hold their center. They choose when to engage and when to remain silent. This choice is power. Over time, this single act reshapes identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries to be disciplined. You become someone who moves when action is required. The mind adapts to the evidence you provide it. Repetition turns behavior into belief. Belief turns into character. Many seek motivation at dawn. They wait to feel ready. Readiness is a myth sold to the hesitant. Action creates readiness, not the other way around. When you rise immediately, motivation follows like a shadow. When you wait for it, it disappears. The morning is unforgiving because it is honest. There are no excuses yet, no pressures to blame. What you do here reflects who you are becoming. This is why it matters, not because others see it, but because you do. If you fall back into delay, do not dramatize the failure. Notice it. Correct it the next morning. Discipline is not fragile. It is rebuilt through consistency, not perfection. Each dawn offers another chance to assert command. Remember this: the day does not test you first, you test yourself. Win this moment and the rest of the day meets a man already standing. Rise before comfort can speak, and weakness will learn silence. After you have risen before comfort could speak, the next danger arrives quietly. It does not challenge your strength, it challenges your attention. The world waits patiently for this moment. Sounds, signals, obligations, and other people's urgency stand ready to rush into the empty space you leave unguarded. If you allow them entry before you have taken your stance, your early victory dissolves without a fight. Many men wake strong and become weak within minutes, not because they lack discipline, but because they never claimed ownership of their first hour. The morning is not empty time, it is raw material, untouched, unshaped, and easily stolen. Those who do not understand its value treat it casually. They reach outward before they look inward. They open doors before securing the room. By the time they realize they are scattered, the damage is already done. The tone of the day has been set by forces that do not care about their purpose. To seize the morning is not to hide from the world, it is to meet it on your own terms. Silence at this hour is not absence, it is clarity. In silence, the mind reveals its habits. You notice how quickly it seeks distraction, how uncomfortable it becomes without stimulation. This discomfort is not a problem, it is a signal. It shows you where control is weak and where it must be strengthened. Most men mistake information for preparation. They believe that by consuming more, they will be more ready. In truth, consumption before alignment creates confusion. The mind becomes crowded before it has direction. The disciplined begin differently. They start by ordering themselves. Breath becomes steady, posture becomes deliberate, attention settles. Only then is the world allowed to enter. Movement in the morning is not about intensity, it is about intention. The body must be reminded that it follows command, not impulse. Simple movements performed with awareness are enough. Stretching, walking, controlled effort. These acts speak directly to the nervous system. They say, "You are awake because I have decided to be." A body that learns this lesson early resists less later. Stillness is equally important, not the stillness of sleep but the stillness of presence. Sitting without distraction teaches patience. It trains the ability to remain calm without entertainment. Many avoid this because it exposes restlessness, but restlessness is weakness seeking escape. When you sit with it and do not obey it, you weaken its authority. The world encourages urgency. It teaches that speed is strength and reaction is responsibility. This is false. Urgency without direction is panic wearing armor. The man who claims his morning moves without hurry. He understands that speed applied too early creates mistakes that must be corrected later. Calm preparation saves more time than haste ever will. When you seize the morning, you create a buffer between yourself and chaos. Problems do not disappear, but they arrive smaller. Decisions do not vanish, but they feel clearer. This is not because the day has changed. It is because you have already stood still while the world was quiet. Noise loses its power over a mind that has known silence. Comfort is most dangerous when it feels harmless. A warm seat, a glowing screen, a familiar habit. None of these appear threatening, yet each one invites passivity. To seize the morning is to refuse these invitations, not out of hatred for comfort but out of loyalty to strength. Comfort can be enjoyed later. In the morning, it must wait. Many believe discipline is something heavy and joyless. They imagine it as constant struggle. In truth, discipline simplifies life. When the first hour is claimed, fewer decisions are needed later. Energy is conserved because it is not wasted on internal debate. The day flows more smoothly not because it is easier but because resistance has been addressed early. There is a reason the early hours feel sacred to those who respect them. They are free of performance. No one is watching. No one is judging. Action taken here is pure. It is done for alignment, not approval. This purity strengthens the spirit. It builds a quiet pride that does not need to be displayed. Those who fail to seize the morning often spend the rest of the day trying to recover it. They chase focus, motivation, and calm, unaware that all three were available at dawn and were freely given away. This chase is exhausting. It creates the illusion of effort without the reward of progress. When the morning is claimed consistently, the mind begins to anticipate order. It becomes less reactive, less argumentative. Over time, you notice that pressure affects you differently. Situations that once caused agitation now feel manageable. This is not because you have become indifferent, but because you have become prepared. The first hour teaches the rest of the day how to behave. If it is rushed, the day rushes. If it is distracted, the day fragments. If it is deliberate, the day follows. This pattern is reliable. Ignore it and you live in reaction. Respect it and you live in command. Some will say this practice is excessive. They will call it unnecessary discipline. They speak from a life shaped by habit rather than intention. The disciplined do not argue with such opinions, they simply live differently. Results speak where explanations are unnecessary. Seizing the morning is an act of self-respect. It says that your path matters enough to be protected from intrusion. It says that you will not allow the loudest voice to decide your direction. Over time, this respect becomes visible in how you carry yourself. Others feel it even if they cannot name it. When the world finally enters your day, let it meet structure. Let it encounter a mind already aligned and a body already awake. Then demands become manageable and chaos becomes navigable. You are no longer trying to find your footing, you are already standing. Take the morning, and the day will answer to you. After the morning has been claimed and silence has been respected, the body stands waiting. It does not ask questions, it does not argue with philosophy, it waits for command. This is where many men reveal their weakness because they believe the body should be convinced rather than instructed. They wait for motivation, for energy, for the right feeling. By doing so, they reverse the natural order. The body was never meant to lead, it was meant to obey. A body left without command will follow comfort. This is not rebellion, it is instinct. Comfort preserves energy, avoids strain, and seeks ease. These instincts are useful for survival but destructive for mastery. The disciplined do not hate the body for this, they understand it, and because they understand it, they do not negotiate with it, they issue instruction. Training the body is not about appearance or strength shown to others, it is about authority. When the body moves on command, the mind learns certainty. When the body hesitates, the mind learns doubt. Over time, this difference becomes visible not only in posture and endurance but in decision-making, speech, and presence. Many men believe they are mentally weak when in truth they are physically undisciplined. The mind and body are not separate territories, they communicate constantly. A body that avoids effort teaches the mind to do the same. A body that responds immediately teaches the mind obedience. This is why physical discipline is non-negotiable. It trains the will without words. Movement must be deliberate, not chaotic, not rushed, not driven by anger or ego. Deliberate movement tells the nervous system that control is present. Even simple actions, holding posture, steady breathing under strain, repeating a movement beyond comfort, send a clear message: command exists here. The weak approach physical effort emotionally. They push when they feel inspired and retreat when discomfort arrives. This creates inconsistency. The disciplined remove emotion from the equation. They move because it is time to move. They stop because it is time to stop. Feeling is irrelevant. This neutrality is strength. Pain is often misunderstood. It is treated as an enemy rather than information. Pain speaks honestly. It tells you where the edge is. The disciplined listen without panic. They do not chase pain for pride, nor do they flee from it out of fear. They remain present. This presence is what builds endurance, not the muscle alone, but the ability to stay composed under strain. When the body learns obedience, hesitation disappears in other areas of life. Decisions become cleaner, fear loses leverage. You no longer wait for certainty before acting. Action creates certainty. This lesson is first learned in the body, not the mind. There is a difference between effort and strain. Strain comes from resistance to effort. Effort itself can be calm. When you train the body regularly, you learn this distinction. You learn that most exhaustion comes from internal conflict, not from movement. Once the conflict is removed, effort becomes sustainable. Many avoid daily physical discipline because they associate it with punishment. They imagine it as self-violence. This is incorrect. Discipline is not punishment, it is structure. Structure frees energy. Without it, energy leaks through indecision and avoidance. With it, energy is directed. The body remembers what the mind forgets. It remembers habits, posture, breath. This is why discipline must be daily, not excessive but consistent. Gaps invite negotiation. Consistency removes it. The body begins to move automatically when instructed. This automatic obedience is not weakness, it is efficiency. A man who cannot command his own body will struggle to command his environment. Stress will overwhelm him because his foundation is unstable. But a man whose body responds immediately carries stability with him. Even in chaos, he remains grounded. Do not confuse obedience with submission. The body is not being oppressed, it is being aligned. A well-trained body moves freely because it is not confused. Confusion is heavier than effort. Discipline removes confusion. There will be days when the body resists more strongly. Fatigue, soreness, age, all will speak. Listen, but do not obey blindly. Adjust intensity, not principle. Movement remains, command remains. This flexibility preserves longevity without surrender. Training the body daily also removes arrogance. It humbles without humiliating. Effort reveals truth quickly. There is no pretending under strain. This honesty sharpens character. It keeps pride from growing unchecked. When the body obeys without debate, time is saved, energy is conserved. The mind becomes quieter because it is no longer arguing with sensation. This quiet spreads, conversations become calmer, reactions slow, presence deepens. The world respects a man whose movements are controlled, not because he is large or loud, but because he is precise. Precision signals mastery, sloppiness signals inner disorder. Discipline refines movement until nothing is wasted. Remember this: motivation is unreliable, but command is always available. You may not feel strong, but you can always instruct the body to move. Each time you do, you strengthen the bond between will and action. The disciplined do not ask their body how it feels before acting. They act and allow feeling to follow. Over time, feeling aligns with action, resistance fades, what once felt difficult becomes normal. This is how weakness is removed, not by hatred but by repetition, not by intensity but by consistency. The body learns its role, the mind learns its place, the spirit steadies. Train the body to obey, and hesitation will have nowhere to live.